Last week, we have discussed about the documentary credit, and we discussed about certain articles of UCP 600. And I asked you to study the articles as much as possible, because when you are answering the questions, always it is better to highlight the relevant article, right? Up to which article we have discussed? Can somebody enlighten me? Up to which article we have discussed? I don't think I have discussed the whole thing. I don't think I have discussed the whole thing. Up to which article?
So I think 10.
Up to article 10 we have discussed, right? Up to article 10, yes, I think so. I also have written it up to article 10. That is advising of amendments, LC amendments, right? Then from article 11 onwards, we'll have to discuss. So I won't be able to do it. I don't think I can do it today. But anyway, what I will do is, if there's any possibility, at least to discuss one or two articles, we'll do it. But I want you to read and try to understand on your own whatever the articles, because whether I discuss or not, that will come as examination questions, right? So that part is yours. That part is yours. You have to pay your attention and make more effort to what do you call this? Discuss this article as much as possible. At least before the exam, you have to go through at least three or four times the entire 39 articles, right? Now, have you started the URC findable to have you finished discussing? And we have finished discussing. Have you done one cycle, right? Have you done?
Yes, sir.
Right. Good. But from today onwards, you will be having, if you are doing the URC 522 in the morning, before breakfast, then after dinner, it should be UCP 600. දවසට බේත් බොනවා වගේ තමයි පාඩම් කරන්න වෙන්නේ. වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. At least 2 articles per day, right? 2 tablets per day වගේ, 2 articles per day, morning and evening. You have to study, right? Otherwise, you won't be able to finish it. Most of the people, what they do is they put 1 week leave, privilege leave, annual leave, dala padam karana. You will never get through the exam, right? Start now itself, right? Last week we discussed about the types of credits. Sorry, documentary credits. And I told you, we have discussed the basic, the vanilla product of documentary credit, the basic. Today we are going to discuss about special types, various special types of credit, which is available in international market. One is clean credit, like clean collection. This is a clean credit. A clean credit is issued by a bank. Definitely, most of the LCs are 99.9% LCs are issued by banks. Why I said 99.9%? What about the 0.1%? Are LCs issued by other than the banks? Yes, any financial institution can issue if they have if they have registered and if they have the facility for swift messages and all. I mean, in other countries, yes. In Sri Lanka, no. Right? But when it comes to clean credits, it's always issued by a bank. And here, the seller may draw bills upon the banker without the documentary support. Documentary credit means bill of exchange as well as the documentary credits. Right? Here, only the bills upon the banker without documentary support. Only the bill of exchange. Right? Clean credits are granted only to firms of the highest credit standing or against security. So it's a high risk area. So always we are doing it only for customers with highest credit standing and with a lot of security. Right. Right. But it is very, very rare. Then the second one is the standby letter of credit. Standby letter of credit. On standby letter of credit, a normal letter of credit. First, we'll take normal letter of credit. In a normal letter of credit, how do you pay? Normal letter of credit, how do you pay? How do you pay the beneficiary? Please speak up. A common sense question. With what we have discussed last week, you can give an answer.
Funds available in the accounts.
Yes, Sudha? Sorry, I didn't get you clearly. Can you repeat the answer? Can you repeat the answer?
Available funds in the account, we can pay.
If you have available funds in the account, we can pay. But what is the definition of LC? Then you will realize that your answer is wrong. What is the definition of LC? Definition of LC is if the documents are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, the issuing bank will pay. They have given an irrevocable undertaking, right, to pay on behalf of the applicant. On behalf of the applicant. So if the applicant, even if the applicant doesn't have any money, issuing bank has to pay. It's an irrevocable undertaking. They have to pay. Right? So in that case, we don't have to have the funds in the account. We can give a loan, import loan, and then settle the bill. Then that is not the answer I'm looking for. Normal letter of credit, but the answer is Q. My cutting if the documents are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, then we will pay. That's the definition. If the documents are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, we will pay. In other words, that means if the beneficiary perform, right, then we will pay. If the beneficiary performed, we will pay. Otherwise, if we have not performed, that means if they have not given the documents as per the terms and conditions of the LC, we will not pay. Simple as that. Standby, this is a normal LC, DC. Standby letter of credit. standby DC. If the beneficiary, right, not perform, if it is not performed, then we have to pay. Not performed. So in that means this is something like bank guarantee. When we issue a bank guarantee, we open a bank guarantee and we will do the transaction. Okay, to what do you call this? To build, to do some constructions, to build a building, to build a building, right? If you take the contract, then we are performing. We are trying to build up the building. If we cannot deliver the goods on or before the due date, then what is that company will do? Company in the sense the beneficiary. If you say the beneficiary is, we are building a new building for a company, ABC and Company. Their head office building we are doing. Right? For that, we have given a standby letter of credit or bank guarantee. But if we cannot fulfill their obligations, that means before the, as per the contract, as per the sales contract or the construction contract, if we cannot deliver the goods, if we cannot complete the building, then they will claim money. Right? They will claim money. That means if we have not performed, that's the difference. Right? Okay. In other words, now you can realize standby letter of credit is very much similar to another banking product. What is that? Only the name is different.
Bank guarantee.
Bank guarantee. It is very much similar to bank guarantee. Right? The standby credit is a documented credit or similar arrangements, however named or described, which represent an obligation to the beneficiary on the part of the issuing bank to repay money borrowed by the applicant or advance to or for the account of the applicant. It can be anything, either a financial obligation or construction obligation. Make payment on account of any indebtedness undertaken by the applicant, or make payment on account of any default by the applicant in the performance of an obligation. Right? So in simple, standby letter of credit is get activated only on non-performance. If it's performed well, it will, after the expiry date, it will get cancelled. Slowly it will get cancelled. Right? A standby letter of credit is a good alternative for a letter of credit when the buyer and the seller already know each other better. Right? Now, can you see the board? Can you see the board?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes,
What
sir.
I am writing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just visible. Thank you very much. Otherwise, I'll have to move from one to another one. By the time I'm doing that, everything will go. Right? It is something like this. We'll take, for an example, this is a very good alternative for letter of credit when the buyer and seller already know each other better. in a letter of credit, we are always trying to safeguard the buyer as well as the seller. We are trying to get the maximum cover to the buyer. We are highlighting what are the documents we need, what are the certificates we need to regarding the quality of the goods and everything. And on the other hand, the buyer's bank will give an irrevocable undertaking on behalf of the buyer that you submit the documents correctly, you perform your duty, we will pay you. Right? But when it comes to open account, the buyer is here, seller here. Seller will send the goods. Seller will send the goods, and the buyer will pay. Number two, pay. Right? But so always there's a risk. Always there's a risk. Because if the buyer doesn't pay, after receiving the goods, this poor guy will be at a risk. That we learn. Right? But standby letter of credit is a very good alternative. Here, no need to open LC. If you have to open a LC, we can open a normal LC, right? But instead of that, what we can do is this transaction, where these two people are known to each other very well, good relationship. So the transaction will go on. Right? They will send, buyer will send the money. Seller will ship the goods, buyer will send the money. It will go on. Right? But any given time, anything can happen. So what we can do is to cover this risk, we can have a standby letter of credit. Standby DC. We can have a standby DC to cover the transaction. If you say for 6 months, for a 6 months period, for example, right? So during that 6 months period, when the seller sells the goods, the buyer will send the money. Seller will send the goods, buyer will send the money, like that. Right? And also we specify in the standby letter of credit what are the goods, what should be the quality. Everything is there. And then during that period, if everything goes smoothly, after the expiry date, the standby letter of credit will get cancelled, expired, without utilizing. But during that time, if something happened, either seller has sent wrong goods or buyer has not done the payment, then always the seller is a beneficiary, seller can claim on the standby letter of credit. Then the buyer's bank has to pay. Under the standby letter of credit. If they have performed or non-performed.
Non-perform.
Not perform. Non-performance only will get paid, right? A standby LC is a guarantee in the form of a documented credit, but is more flexible, has lower cost, and provides less administrative load as less documents are required. Now, document checking lazy. Standby LC is used as a guarantee for non-payment by the buyer or non-compliance with the agreement by the supplier. Performance guarantee. If they are not performed their job properly, again, there will be a claim. Right? Standby letter of credits are commonly used as a form of guarantee by a parent company for a credit facilities given to a subsidiary company. If the parent company, on the parent company's guarantee, if they have given credit facilities to a subsequent trade facilities to a sister company or a group company, right? We can cover it with the standby letter of trade. In support of importers' open account purchases, I discuss. To cover brokerage firms' margin requirement. So brokerage firms' margin requirements also, we issue a standby letter of trade and then we'll keep it, right? And if in the case of a non-performance, we will claim. To serve as bid and performance bond in the construction industry. Bid and performance bond. In the construction industry, we have bid bonds, performance bonds, etc. Right? So we, instead of issuing a bank guarantee, we can issue standby letter of trade also. To cover advance payment, or performance bonds. To provide insurers, agent, worldwide reimbursement of claims paid. Right? Anything we do on bank guarantees, we can do on standby letter of credit. Right? In certain countries, certain European countries, and especially USA, according to the USA commercial law, the bank guarantees are not entertained. They don't recognize bank guarantees. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ law එකේ නෑ bank guarantees කියන එක. Right? And they recognize only standby letter of trade. Standby letter of trade. So in other words, it's the same functions as a bank guarantee, but it's more elaborated under trade transactions. Now tell me, standby letter of credits are governed by what ICC regulations? Normal letter of credit are governed by? Normal letter of credit are governed by?
UCP.
UCP 600. Standby letter of credit? Standby letter of credit? Any idea? Read the article 1, application of UCP. Read the article 1 here.
It includes standby letters of credit.
It includes standby letter of credit also. So it is even under UCP 600, standby letter of credit are covered. But because of the high use of standby letter of credit in America and some other European countries, ICC has introduced separate specific ICC regulations, rules on standby letter of credit. We call it ISP 98. ISP 98. International Standby Practices. International Standby Practices. 1998. Revision is in 1998. Since 1998, we are using the same thing. And here, the out of the Visai, Vishidekai, Situnak, 23 years, we are using the same one, ISP 98. ISP 98 is not very much popular in Sri Lanka. Our guys, they prefer bank guarantees. Same thing, same functions. Our guys prefer bank guarantees. But time to time, I know, even though I am not involved in the banks, whatever you people are doing, right? Whatever things you people are doing, I'm getting informed from my colleagues, right? Now, little by little, we are getting the LCs, standby LCs. Little by little, we are getting the standby LCs subject to ISP 98. Subject to ISP 98. මේක දැක්ක ගමන් සමහර බැංකර්ස්ලා සර්පෙත් දැක්කා වගේ බය වෙලා දඟලනවා. I'm getting calls from නම් කියන්න බෑ මොකද ඒ සමහර බැංක්ස් වල මම වැඩ කරලා තියෙනවා. Immediately when they saw this, they will come and tell me, oh, sir, we have received a standby letter of credit subject to ISP 98. What can we do? Can we reject it, saying that this is not applicable in Sri Lanka? I said, don't be foolish, because then what the other people will think about our country? Like we are like Africans, right? Read ISP 98 and attend. Nothing, no magics, right? Okay. So just for information, ISP 98, okay, exam in the very night, I make a full long my ISP 98, I'll discuss with you, right? The second special type is red clause credit, advance payment document credits. We call it red clause credit. Red clause credit. Now, red clause credit, a definition is a red clause DC is a documentary credit with a special condition incorporated into it that they authorize the confirming bank or any other nominated bank to make advances to the beneficiary before presentation of the document. Now, this will give you some indication. When we issue LC, please try to think with me, along with me. Just try to think deeply and try to give me the feedback, right? Otherwise, I don't want to give you the lengthy handouts and ask you to study. This way it's much easier, right? So advance payment document, or otherwise red clause, means before we talk about the red clause, normal LC, how do we pay?
When the documents are in order.
At what time, Buddha? At what time? If it's a manufacturing industry, we are manufacturing shoes. This industry, have a red clause time මේ වගේ එකට ගන්න බෑ. මේක ඇත්තටම පටන් ගත්තේ මේකෙදි අද මේ wool industry. This is how red clause DC came into operation. The wool industry. Wool. From where are we getting the wool? From where are we getting the wool? Which animal gives us the wool?
Sheep.
Sheep. Sheep. Very good. Right. Stories in the wool industry in 1700 between 1700 to 1800, like 17th, 18th centuries, 17th, 18th centuries, right? In the wool industry, these people, when they want to import wool, first they have to give an advance. They have to give an advance to the farmer. They have to give an advance to the farmer because the farmer has to feed the animals, right? Then they have to look after them on a daily basis, right? Then they have to look for their health conditions, and then when they are ready for cutting the wool, right? They have to cut the wool and then bale it and then export it. So before cutting and exporting the wool, there are so many other steps which they have to spend money. These farmers, sheep farmers, they didn't have much money. So because of that, they said, okay, we need an advance, a guaranteed advance. So this is the way why this red clause was introduced. Right? They open LCs with a special clause, and the conditions incorporated in that LC to say they authorize the confirming bank or the nominated bank. The issuing bank gives an undertaking. Okay, you can advance 40%. You can advance 40% as an advance. 40% of LC value. 40% of LC value. 40% of advance LC value as an advance. So if the LC is for US dollars 100,000, the bank will advance 40,000 US dollars to the beneficiary. 40,000 US dollars to the beneficiary. Right? On a simple receipt. Still, they have not done anything. The beneficiary has not done anything. They have not shipped. Right? Only they give an undertaking that we will perform, we will use this 40% money, the US dollars 40,000. We will use this 40,000 to feed the sheep and to cover the overhead expenses and all those things. It's a simple receipt. Right? The clause may require a receipt for the advance due to sign by the beneficiary. So when they give an advance to the beneficiary will give a simple receipt, right? That they have accepted the advance and they will act accordingly as per the contract. An undertaking from the beneficiary to utilize the funds to purchase and pack the material. That's very simple, that they will utilize only for that purpose, right? Over there, ඔයගලන්ට දුන්නා නා. ඒ සල්ලිත් අරගෙන මේ ගෑනු ළමයි ටික ඉන්දියාවෙත් යයි සාරි වන්දනාවේ. නේද? ඊට පස්සේ සාරි ටික ගෑනලා විකුණලා ගානක් අම්මු කරගත්තට පස්සේ ඒ ෂේප් කරගන්න බැරි අර මේකට දාලා කියලා යනවා. එහෙම බෑ. They have to give an undertaking that they will not utilize it for any other thing, only for this particular purpose. An undertaking from the beneficiary to present the full set of documents as stipulated in the credit to the negotiation bank within the expiry of the credit. Right? In reimbursement, the nominated bank will claim on the issuing bank in terms of the LC supported by a document as indicated above. In reimbursement, the nominated bank will claim on the issuing bank in terms of the LC supported by a document as indicated above. Right? Now, it is a simple receipt. In order to provide some measures of comfort to the issuing bank and the applicant, the advance payment is sometimes to be made not only against a receipt and undertaking, but also against the beneficiary. Right? Providing confirmation from a shipping agent that it has booked a shipping space on a particular vessel, the sailing date is consistent with the LC. All those things are nitty-gritty things. Don't worry about that. First, definition, and this part is the most important thing. Right? Okay. That is red cross LC. There's another one called green cross LC. Green clause. What is green clause? A green clause DC allows pre-shipment to be made as red clause DCs, but stipulate that advances may only be made against goods stored in to an advising bank's order pending shipment. Right? The funds are advanced against a warehouse receipt in the lending bank's name. Such green clause DCs are very rare nowadays. Now here, the green clause LC, the only difference is we put here we give the money for manufacturing. In green clause LC, the goods are being manufactured, and it will be in the warehouse. Right? These goods will be in a warehouse. Secured warehouse. And then we get the warehouse receipt and we advance the funds against the warehouse receipt. Right? This is not that risky like red clause. Red clause is 100% risk. Yeah, at least we don't know whether the guys will manufacture the goods or not. ඒක question mark එකක් තියෙන්නේ. Right? හැබැයි මෙහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ 40% අරන් සතුන්ට කන්න බොන්න දෙදී ඉන්නකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? එක්කෝ කොවිඩ් හැදිලා ෆාම මැරෙනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් වෙන ලක් හැදිලා සතු ටික මැරෙනවා. එතන මොකද වෙන්නේ? සතු ටික වලත් අපිට බුත් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. නේ? It's beyond our control. ඔයගේ red clause එකේ risk එක තියෙනවා. Therefore, before we in Sri Lanka, before we authorize the red clause, we are trying to cover up to get 100% collateral to cover the exposure. 100% collateral to cover the exposure. Right? Green clause is at least they have finished the product and now they are stored in the warehouse. So from the warehouse, they give a warehouse receipt. They confirm that, okay, these goods are now secured here. Done. Right? So it is less riskier than the red clause. Revolving documented credit. Another one. Revolving documented credit. Revolving documented credit. Why we use revolving documented credit is right. Let's see like this. There is a customer, right? ABC company. Customer ABC company. They are manufacturers of, we'll say, some specific garments. Another pikani. Or we'll say they are the manufacturers of shoes. Now they are manufacturing shoes and then they export to Qatar, another country. They export to Qatar, right? But to manufacture the shoes, they need raw materials. They need raw materials. To get down the raw materials, every month they'll have to issue LCs. Every month they have to issue new LCs to get down the raw materials. But it appears that they have a very good relationship, and then because of that, what they are trying to discuss with the bank is the Qatar guy and the Sri Lankan guy. They are thinking, is there any possibility without opening LCs every time? When we open an LC, is there any way we can continue the operations? We can continue the operations. So that is why this revolving documented credit has come into effect. Right? Here, what is happening is every month we need a leather needed for manufacturing of shoes. We want to import leather, and we have a good guy, reliable guy, right? So he's prepared to send us the goods on a regular basis, right? So what we will do is we open one LC, single LC, but it should be a revolving LC. Revolving LC. It's a single LC and it should be a revolving LC, right? And revolving in the sense, when we open the LC for US dollars 50,000, right? Once we receive the goods for 50,000, then this LC will get automatically reinstated. Right? You don't have to send an what do you call this amendment and all those things. It's automatically getting reinstated. Right? So this is how these things are happening. And especially, I can remember one of the later situations. One day, a customer came to see me, a foreigner, a German guy, who is an expert in manufacturing beer. Now, he has been recruited by one of the leading beer companies in Sri Lanka. Right? And to manufacture beer, they have to import raw materials. What are the raw materials for beer? Mainly the malt and some other ingredient from various European countries. from various European countries, they have to import the raw material, the malt and other ingredients and all those. Right? So what he was telling me is, I want these shipments on a monthly basis, but I don't want to open LCs on a monthly basis. Can I do this transaction by opening one LC and continue it for another 6 months or so? So I explained to him the best possible solution is revolving documentary credit. These revolvement can be in relation to time or value. It can be in relation to time or to value. Right? Two methods of reinstatement of revolving trades. One is upon time, either cumulative or non-cumulative. Other one is upon value. Right? Now, for example, I told you that the revolving LCs can be on two methods. One is time, other one is value. The time can be either cumulative or non-cumulative. Cumulative in the sense, what do you mean by cumulative? If there's any balance portions, it will get added to the previous one. Non-cumulative is not like that. If there's a balance portion, it will get cancelled. Right? Okay. I'll explain to you with a small example, then it's easy for you to understand the whole scenario. Right? There is a customer who wants to import certain goods, right, on monthly basis. Period. Monthly. Period. Monthly basis. Right? Every month he needs. Every month he needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every month he needs about, if you say, 100,000 units, right? Units, 100,000. Units, 100,000, right? 1,000 cake it was done. 100,000. If it is cumulative, make a cumulative, make a non-cumulative. Non-cumulative, right? When units 100,000, you didn't the account. $100,000 units per month. 100,000 units per month. Right? It's my standard thing. Every month, that will go. Right? Now we'll see period, monthly, first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month. Per month, 100,000 maximum. So the first month, we received 100,000 under cumulative. Second month, the beneficiary has sent us 80,000 units. 80,000 units. Third month, how much of units they can send?
120.
120. Yes, it is cumulative. There's a 20 balance here. Third month, for that particular month, 100,000. So 120,000 units. 120,000 units they can do it. Fourth month, because of COVID and some labor unrest, අපේ දැන් මේ දවස්වල ජෝසප් ස්ටාලින්ලා ඇවිදින්නේ කෑගග ඒ වගේ මොනවාරි labor unrest இருந்தா these people couldn't do any shipment. These people couldn't do any shipment. And COVID, everything. Fifth month was all right. The fifth month, how much they can send?
200.
200. Very good. Tell me who has given that answer. Name?
Randi.
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 Randi. R-A-N-D-I.
Yes.
Right. Randi, which bank? Yeah?
I'm from DFCC Bank.
DFCC. Good. You're in trade or
No, I'm in credit department.
trade department? Right. 200. This is cumulative. Then if it is non-cumulative, right? The first month we will be getting 100,000. Second month we get 80,000. Third month
100.
100, not 120. The balance portion will go for 6. Right? Fourth month 0. Fifth month
100,000.
only 100. Only 100. That is non-cumulative. Okay? And when we open the LC for 6 months, 5 months period, this will go on like this. Right? Automatically reinstated. But only thing is, this is very risky. It's very risky. Right? Because of that, we have to have these LCs open only for long-standing customers who are having long-standing relationship. Right? Otherwise, it will be a problem. And the amount available on the credit to be reinstated usually without any specific amendment. Without any specific amendment, we just send them a swift message saying that, okay, you're authorized to reinstate. That's it. Nothing. Right? It is very important. And when we open the LC, we have to say, normally we say, LC is subject to UCP 600. LC is subject to UCP 600. But in the UCP 600 Article 32, UCP 600 Article 32, it says, bank issuing revolving credits should specifically exclude the provisions of Article 32 of UCP 600, installment drawings or shipment, as two methods are fundamentally and conceptually different. Let's see what is UCP Article 32. Article 32. Installment drawings or shipment. If a drawing or shipment by installment, we are getting it installments. Within given period is stipulated in the credit and any installment is not drawn. Any installment is not drawn or shipped within the period allowed for that installment, the credit ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installments. I'll explain to you. in installment drawings, right? Either it can be installment payments or installment drawings or shipments, right? If a drawings or shipment by installment, right? In this one, I'll give you an example like this. We have opened a LC with installment shipments. We have opened a LC with installment shipments to import wristwatches. To import wristwatches from Swiss. Wristwatches from Swiss. Every month we have to receive 10,000 units of wristwatches every month. 10,000 units of wristwatches. So we have given a chart to say month in the watches units, right? First month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, right? Every and the time every month they have to send every month every month 1,000 units of watches every month. 1,000 units of watches. 1,000 units of watches every month, right? Monthly 1,000 units of watches you have to receive monthly. Then the month, shipment date, right? You say shipment date. Shipment date. We're going to pay on either. Shipment date. Make it 0. First month, we have received 1,000 units of watches. Right? We received it on 30th January. We received it on 30th January. The second month, we received is cumulative or non-cumulative, whatever. Second month also we received 1,000 watches, right? 1,000 watches. We received it on 28th February. So shipment date 28th February. The third one we received 1,000 units on 2nd April. This is March, before March 31st, but due to some issues, it got delayed on 2nd April. The fourth one, we got 1,000. We received it on 28th April. 28th April. Fifth one, 1,000 units, we received on 30th May. Right? Now tell me, if it is installment drawings as per the Article 32, the first one, is it correct? Is it correct? Is it a compliant presentation? Is it a compliant presentation? First month in January, yeah? Make a Feb. March, April, May. Again, right? Is it compliant presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Why not again?
Yes.
Yes, it is a compliant presentation. It's correct. We can pay. The second shipment, is it compliant?
Yes.
Yes. Third shipment,
Yes.
yes. It has to be received during the month. When we have received, when it was shipped. Second April. So is it compliant?
No, sir.
No, it is not compliant. Fourth one, is it during the month of April?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. Fifth one, so we are going to pay this, huh? Fifth one also correct. So first one, second one, we pay. Third one, we are not paying. Fourth one, are we paying? And fifth one, are we paying?
Yes.
Tiada bayar tu.
Yes, sir.
Bukan another name. What about others? Avanti, you are silent.
No.
Huh?
After the third month onwards, the credit will be ceased.
Who is that?
Udita.
Huh?
Udita.
Udita from?
Third month onwards, credit will be ceased.
Yes, Udita. Udita is perfectly correct. Third one is wrong. If one installment is wrong, that particular one and the subsequent shipments will be seized and the credit will ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installments. The make it in you got my point? But if you are going to have this one, cumulative and non-cumulative, මේ වගේ වෙලාවට අපිට මේක ආවේ නැහැ කියලා ඊගාවට යනවනේ හොගාලා. This is a different scenario. That is different scenario. But if you say the LC is, this revolving LC is subject to UCP 600, you have to say that, right? But very specifically, you have to mention it is subject to UCP 600, excluding Article 32. Excluding Article 32. You got it? Excluding Article 32. එක කිව්වේ නැත්නම් revolving LC එක null and void, right? And the other thing is, it's very difficult to control these revolving LCs, right? Sometimes the revolvement is automatic, or sometimes it can be, we'll have to inform the thing, right? So you have to be very, very careful. You have to be very, very careful. One thing, you have to say it's excluding Article 32. That is one. Like, අනිත් එක තමයි, the controlling has to be plus. We have to control it very carefully. Do you know, in my banking career as in trade, out of my 44 years banking career, more than 28, 29, 30 years with international trade, right? So that period, I may have opened easily over 100,000 LCs. Over 100,000 LCs, I easily कर लेती. When I was working for HSBC, Middle East, Dubai, for a day we are opening about 100 LCs. DFCC game කරනවා නම් LC 5ක් හරි 6ක් හරි තමයි එන්නේ. Right? Then Bank of Australia අඩු වෙලා. There we open about 100 LCs per day. Per day. I think for 10 years, just imagine. Right? But in my banking career, I have not opened not even 20 revolving LCs. Not even 20 revolving LCs. I always discourage these things. There was another girl who answered my questions very nicely earlier, who was in the credit. කවුද පුතේ? ඔයාගේ නම කියන්නේ? ඔයා ලස්සනට answer කළා මට. You said you are in the credit. Randi. Sorry, Randi. Yeah, Randi. Randi, in credit, if you are in the credit department, now you must be thinking, Shah, this is a very good thing now for my customers. I can recommend them. No. This is why always we are having eternal fight among credit guys and trade guys. Right? For them, this is an easy thing. But for trade guys, this is one of the very, very risky area. Right? So because these revolvements can be automatic. If it is automatic, there is no need for any further amendments from the issuing bank. Right? If it is non-automatic, then we'll have to send the text message for revolvements to reinstate the LC. Right? If we miss, it's another issue. The ඔයගේ හරි ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. ඒකින්ද trade එකෙන් අපි පුළුවන් තරම් මේක discourage කරනවා. Because very, very cumbersome and very risky. Right? Only the trade guys knows about this particular risk. Right? And even that 20 LCs what we have opened, I used to keep the LC copies in my personal job, fireproof job, personal one. The others will not come and interfere there. Because I don't want my people, when they receive documents on this one, they have to come and ask me the LC for them to negotiate. And when they come to me, from that point, I am going behind those people. Have you done that? Have you done that? Now, if so, bring the documents to me. I want to see. Then give me the document, original LC back to me, to be placed in my shop. Right? ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ additional මේ ගන්න. වෙන මොකක්ද හින්දා නෙමෙයි බය හින්දා. අප්සෙට් එකක් ගියොත් යයි කියන බයට තමයි අපි control කරන්නේ. Right? So it's very, you think it is easy. No, it is not easy. Right? And the other thing, if you say, if it is automatic, a DC may indicate that US dollars 25,000 may be drawn each month during its 6 months validity. So if it is automatic, revolvement is automatic, then we have to say 25,000, our liability will be 25,000 into 6, automatic. Because the moment the other guys send us the shipment, 25,000, it will get reinstated automatically. If we have not updated our liability here, then we'll be in a real soup, right? So anyway, because of that, we'll have to mark our liability as 150,000 straight away we marked from the day one, right? If it is revolvement is not non-automatic, then we have at least some sort of control. Every time we have to send the reinstatement, otherwise it will not get revolved, right? So because of that, at least we can mark our liability as 25,000. Why it is 150 is, if it is automatic, without our knowledge also, it can be revolved. Okay, for example, if I am sick and I haven't gone to office for 2 weeks, or if I had taken my entire annual leave for 1 month, if I had gone abroad, right? Anything can happen. The mama control karata anithek kenekge control එකෙන් ගැලවිලා යන්න පුළුවන්, right? Okay. Control of operational risk in revolving DCs. Issuing banks should ensure that honor or negotiation should be restricted to a nominated bank, not to any bank, a particular bank. Revolvement of amounts remains under control of issuing bank. Should be non-automatic, right? Okay. Then we'll discuss about one of the most popular LC method. Most popular LC method, right? I will try to explain to you, and then later we can go through these articles, right? Transferable LCs. Now, I told you for the last 30 years, against more than 100,000 LCs, I have opened only less than 20 revolving LCs in my life, right? In transferable LCs, every day, if we advise 10 LCs, out of 10, at least 2 or 3 are transferable LCs. At least 2 or 3 are transferable LCs. That means it's a common one. It's very well used in the international trade market. That's a very good tool, right? Because when we open LCs, the issuing bank gives an irrevocable undertaking. Because of that, we need the collateral. Issuing bank will always ask for a collateral, right? But this transferable LC, how it operates, when you understand, you will realize it is very much simple, and if you do it properly, the first beneficiary can do the transactions without opening a new LC, only to transfer the LC. Give me 1 minute, I have to go and look for a red color marker. It's not here. See the thing here. Let's see if know what it is. All are missing. Right. Now, this transferable letter of credit is a letter of credit which is designated as transferable. You have to mention it is transferable, right? This DC is one that can be transferred by the original beneficiary, the first beneficiary or the transferor, to another party, second beneficiary transferee, right? But the second beneficiary is not allowed to transfer to another or third beneficiary, right? I will first I'll try to explain the thing. If you want to draw this one, please do it with me, because I will be using only 2 colors, right? So it's otherwise If you wait till end, you won't be able to gather what has happened, right? Okay. We have the applicant. Applicant is the another name, buyer. Is the buyer, right? He will go to his bank, that is issuing bank, and request to open a LC. This is number one. Request to open a transferable LC, right? Application for transferable DC. Transferable DC. Right? You say amount US dollars 100,000. Can you see these figures? Can you see the figures?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yes, okay. US dollars 100,000. Then based on that, the issuing bank will issue a transferable DC. Transferable DC. What should be the amount? Louder. What's the amount? US dollars?
100,000.
100,000. US dollars 100,000. Right? And it will be advised to the first advising bank. First advising bank. Earlier we had only advising bank. Now we say first advising bank. First advising bank. Because that's the first beneficiary's bank. First beneficiary is the middleman. Right? So when they receive the LC, they will advise the first beneficiary. First beneficiary. The first beneficiary. That's the middleman. Right? Another name is middleman. The middleman. Now this guy, even though he's getting the LC, he doesn't have any goods, but he has the contacts. Otherwise, he doesn't have any goods. Right? So he will say, okay, what is the amount of this LC advised to him? US dollars 100,000. US dollars 100,000. Then he will instruct the first advising bank, his bank, to transfer the LC to the second beneficiary. And when they are transferring, same unit numbers, but they change the unit prices. Right? Change the same unit numbers, but change the unit prices. For example, if you say it will be amount, not amount, number of units, we'll say 1,000. Number of units 1,000. Amount is 100,000. එහෙනම් එක යුනිට් එකක් කීයක් වෙනවද? එක යුනිට් එකක් කීයක් වෙනවද? 100. 1 unit is equals to US dollars 100. Is it correct? Right. Number of units 1,000. Per unit price is US dollars 100. US dollars 100. Right? Now he is giving instructions to his bank, first advising bank, to transfer the LC to the second beneficiary, who is the actual real manufacturer. Right? He will request them to transfer the LC, right, to import 1,000 units. Transfer LC, right? Units 1,000. Price per unit, they are reduced to US dollars 80. US dollars 80. In that case, what should be the LC value? LC value, how much?
80,000.
US dollars 80,000. US dollars 80,000. Right? Then these people will transfer the LC. Transfer DC to the second beneficiary. Second advising bank. Second advising bank. Second advising bank. Now, what is the value of this transfer DC? US dollars. What is the value of this transfer DC to second advising bank? US dollars?
80,000.
80,000. Number of units? Number of units?
1,000.
1,000. We are not changed anything. Right? Right. Then the second advising bank will advise this LC. Make a 1, make a 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. Right? This is 6. Right? Then advise the LC to second beneficiary. Second beneficiary. So second beneficiary will produce the thing, and then they will ship the goods. They will ship the goods directly to buyer. Ship. 7. Number 7. Goods will be shipped to the buyer. Because buyer's address and everything will be given. So they send directly to the buyer. And they give the documents to the second advising bank. Documents to the second advising bank worth of US dollars. Documents worth of US dollars, how much?
80,000.
80,000 US dollars, 80,000. මේක ඔයගොල්ලෝ මාත් එක්කම follow කරගෙන යන්න නැත්නම් බෑ. නැත්නම් එහාට බෑට මිස් වෙනවා. US dollars 80,000. Right? Now, when the second advising bank receives this document, what they will do is they will send the documents. Right? They will send the documents, 80,000 worth of documents to the first advising bank. When the first advising bank receives the documents of $80,000 worth of documents, they will inform the first beneficiary, look, we have received documents from the second advising bank, right? And you can come and do whatever the necessary things. So they will come to the bank and they will replace only the commercial invoice. They will replace only the commercial invoice, making the value. Here the commercial invoice value is US 80,000. They replace the commercial invoice value with a new invoice done by this guy, first beneficiary. The first invoice is coming from second beneficiary. Then now the second one, subsequent one, they are going to replace, which they will replace with US dollars 100,000. He destroy the invoice, 80,000 invoice, and replace it with his own invoice worth 100,000. Right? And then when the issuing bank receives the US dollars 100,000 invoice, they will give it to the applicant. 9, 10, 11. They will give the documents to the applicant. Applicant will take the documents to the court and get the thing cleared. Right? After that, they will pay. Applicant will pay US dollars 100,000 to the issuing bank. Then the issuing bank will, that is 12. Then the issuing bank will send the money to the first advising bank. 13. Payment US dollars 100,000. US dollars 100,000 payment they will do. When they receive the US dollars 100,000, right? They have already received a claim from the second advising bank. The second beneficiary has sent it through second advising bank, a claim for US dollars 80,000. So when they received this 100,000, what they will do is they will give $20,000 to the first beneficiary and send the balance payment to payment of US dollars 80,000. US dollars 80,000 to second beneficiary. They will give $50 payment of US dollars 80,000. So he has asked, he has got a LC for US dollars 80,000. He has produced the goods and sent the goods to the first to the buyer and given the document for 80,000. So he got 80,000. All are happy. Right? Once upon a time, they have a first beneficiary and second beneficiary, and now they all are living happily. Happily, they are after Kilapigam. All are happy. And the first beneficiary is also happy. Without doing anything, he has got how much as his share?
20,000.
20,000 as his share. Without doing anything. Only thing he has spent is, or he should have, is not a factory to produce. What he should have is a computer and a A4 papers or their letterheads or whatever. It's only. What do you think about this type of business? What do you think about this type of business? Really speaking, if I have good contacts like this, I would prefer to do one or two. One transaction is more than enough for me for a month. Oh, month and a month. They get You get 20,000 ඇති. That's more than enough. Right? But only thing you have to have good context, because first beneficiary is a guy who knows about the applicant. Okay, I will supply. And they trust first beneficiary. Right? But we are trying to cover up everything. But you can't hide it every day. You can't hide it every day. One day it will come into light, but we'll try to cover as much as possible. Right? Because I'm on the business sector. මේක තමයි first beneficiariesලා මං කියන්නේ නම් කියන්න ඕනේ. I think it will go on, because they don't know, they can't understand the value of the money also. Without doing anything, they are getting good money. So those are the people who go for night clubs ගිහිල්ලා ගෝරි දාගෙන තාත්තලාගේ මේ security guard ලවත් තියාගෙන කොටම සයිස් එක දාගෙන ඉන්නේ. ඒ වගේ මිනිස්සු තමයි ඉතින්. Right? Good money. And අද විතර කළා තමයි මේක ටිකක් ඉවරයි. But if these people, when they send the documents, this guy has to replace with his invoice. Immediately, the first advising bank will, when the first advising bank inform them, if they can't find out whereabouts of this first beneficiary, then what are we going to do? Okay, this guy has got involved in a quarrel. Now police is looking for him. He's absconding. Right? Meanwhile, these people have sent the documents. The bank gave 1 or 2 telephone calls, can't get him. What are we to do? First advising bank. We'll have to, in a scenario like that, Article 38 covers transfer disease. Article 38 itself is a very good note for transferable disease. මගේ note එක ඕනේ නැහැ. මගේ note එක ඕනේ මේවා විතරයි ඕනේ. That will cover. Read Article 38. This is the best note on transferable disease. Read it carefully. Try to understand, because a question is a must. Definitely you are going to get a question on Article 38. Right? So if you can't find this guy, what the first advising bank will do is they will send the documents of US $80,000, not 100,000. Whatever the documents they got, they will send as it is. And the issuing bank will submit the documents to the applicant. Applicant will be over the moon. Right? Because they have nothing to worry. 100,000 worth of goods, they got it for 80,000. It's a bonus for them. Right? Articles. Right? Okay. Now we'll see the advantages of transferable LCs. Provide the trader's supplier with security for payment. Now trader's supplier is getting a security for payment because he is getting an LC. He is also getting LC, a transferable LC, but same LC is getting transferred. No new LC. So because of that, when we are transferring, we don't have to worry about the security for this transferable LC. It is the same LC, right? And convenient solution for the trader, as it allows him to provide suppliers with the security of a DC without using his own banking facilities. The risk and cost extra risk and cost for the original credit applicant. Original credit applicant, they have a risk, right? And more people are involved and more documents have to be examined and mailed twice before they reach the issuing bank, and thus increasing the risk of loss and errors along the way. May also increase the risk of fraud. These advantages and risk and cost is a possible question you might get, right? Here I have given same thing in a more similar manner. This for your homework, study, and transferable LC flowchart also I have given step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Study, because I have explained everything. This is most important thing. Ensure that the transfer is in accordance with ICC 600 Article 38. Right? Paying particular attention to the following changes requested by the first beneficiary. The first beneficiary can request only 5 or 6 changes. They can't do any more changes, right? One is the amount of the credit. Amount of the credit, 100,000, it may be reduced to 80,000. That's his profit. Unit price may be reduced. Unit price from $100 per unit, I reduce it to $80. Expiry date may be shortened. Expiry date has to be shortened, right? Because the expiry date, otherwise, the moment you receive the LC, LC expiry date, LC is the original one, no? You can't change those things, right? So, LC expiry date, if you say 31st July, LC expiry date 31st July. When we are transferring to the second beneficiary, we'll have to reduce, we have to shorten the expiry date to read as 15th July. So they have to do the transaction, they have to manufacture, they have to send the goods, and they have to send the documents before 15th. So at least you have another, the first beneficiary is having another 2 weeks provision, right? Shipment date also, it has to be shortened. Right? Nothing even late shipment, expired LCs, presentation date also to be shortened. If the normal 21 days will reduce to 5 days or 6 days. Quantity of goods may be reduced if partial shipments are allowed. Right? Then insurance. Insurance. Now the insurance, normally the insurance should be 110% of the CIF value. Now, what is the CIF value of US dollars 100,000? 110% of US dollars 100,000 is US dollars 110,000. But no, according to the UCP Article 28, always it should be 110% of the CIF. US dollars 80,000 now. US dollars 80,000. It should be 88,000 US dollars. But insurance you can't change. So you have taken, the second beneficiary has taken an insurance policy of 88,000. When it comes to the LC insurance bank, they will reject the documents under invoice, underinsured, because according to them, it is 100,000. So the insurance should be 110,000. Whereas these people have taken 88,000 worth of insurance, which is not sufficient. Right? So documents it will get rejected. Because of that, when we are transferring, we'll have to inform we need insurance for 140% of the CIF value. 140% it's about 111,000. So we are covering. Right? Otherwise, it will be this. So the poor second beneficiary has to spend a lot of money, unnecessary money on these things. Right? Okay. These are the key elements of Article 38 of UCP 600. Right? I have given. Please read these things. Right? Then I thought I would be able to finish the whole thing. Next week, before we start or before we continue the thing, we'll try to discuss the transparency articles. For that, I want everybody to read these articles very carefully. May articles stick over and enava my make an matter on the back. Right? In the meeting on the Article 38, there are several articles, right? That's the longest article in the UCP 600, and then we will discuss it. Right? It is up to you. Make a study karanda enava my exam ekata question එක වෙයින් හරි. Right? ඒකෙන් තමයි මේක ටික හොඳට study කරලා තියාගන්න. Right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? මේ මේක ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. Banda EAGFHI IAK. IAK, if the first beneficiary cannot do the replace the invoices and all, these people have the right to send the documents as they have received. 8,000 worth of IAK. Me chart chart should then study.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when the applicant is paying, he's liable to pay 100,000. As per this example, he's liable to pay 100,000 amount of money.
Yes.
And issuing bank is liable to remit this 100,000 to the beneficiary.
Yes.
And when they are submitting this money, the 20,000 is $20,000 should go to first beneficiary and 8,000 should go to the second beneficiary.
Yes.
My question is, who is doing this splitting of work? Issuing bank are sending whole amount to first advisory bank, or the issuing bank is doing this splitting of cash and send them separate funds?
Super question. May I know your name to that?
I'm Tarandu Fonseca.
Tarandu, very good question. Tarandu asked, right? According to this flow chart, whom you think we should do? Is it issuing bank or the first advising bank or second advising bank? The customers can't do anything now.
Yes, I think it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility of first advising bank.
It's a responsibility of first advising bank. I really like you, Tarandu. You asked me the question and you had the answer also. That's how we, even in the bank, that's how we have to work, right? When you're asking a question, you should have some sort of solution. Yes, your solution is perfectly correct. The first advising bank, they are the people who will do the splitting. Right? They will do the splitting. If these people have not replaced the documents, then they will receive only 80,000. Full 80,000, they will send it to the second beneficiary. Of course, keeping their charges. Huh?
Okay.
Second advising bank will not get the entire 80,000. It will be 79,000 something. Right? By charges.
One more thing, sir. when the applicant is asking to open a transferable LC, and he should know whether this LC can be transferred to another party or not.
Yes.
So
We know that.
when applicant is opening such kind of LC, he is having an understanding that this might be involving another party that I don't know of.
Yes.
So
That leads to additional risk. That leads to additional risk to the applicant, because he is getting the goods from an unknown party. Hello.
yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Then what's the question?
Okay. No, you said that when they are opening these LCs, they might not know who is the actual producer of this bank of these goods, or rather, if he knows
Yes.
the
Yes.
third party, then he can directly contact them. So
Yeah.
when he is opening this transfer LC, he's having an understanding of say like the person who is contacting me is not the actual producer; is another party. So
Right.
just wanted to clarify. Get
Yeah.
clarification like that. Thank you.
And the other thing, Farindu, now I'll go for some other thing. Okay, a known example. If we say applicant is Marks and Spencers, or Harrods in UK, Marks and Spencers. Well, number one garment buyers, right? Marks and Spencers. They are asking. They want to buy winter clothes or whatever. Right? Those winter clothes, they will order from Brandix or Mars. Here. Maybe Brandix or Mars may not be manufacturing the thing. So when they receive the order, what they will do is they will split it against so many customers. Now, these 1,000 units, they will say 500 units. 500 units they will give to company A, garment factory A. Another 500 to factory B. This also they can do. So they can split to any amount. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 10, they can do. This is how it is happening in the garment industry. But the A, B, C, D, E, and F, they can't transfer it further. The transfer will stop at the second beneficiary. Right? And this is how it is happening. And when these people manufacture, the poor A and D, they will supply to Brandix. Here, then the Brandix will export. That is one way. Other method is A, B, and C will export directly to Marks and Spencer, because it is not necessarily the A, B, and C is domiciled in Sri Lanka. You know, even Bangladesh, Vietnam, they are in the garment industry. So Marks and Spencer, Brandix or Mars in Sri Lanka can give that order to one of their subsidiaries in those countries also. So they can directly export it. They can directly send to the buyer and give the documents to us. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Any more questions?
Sir, applicant when prior to opening the account, applicant should request to open a transferable AC, right?
Yes.
Without the normal SPLC.
They have to specifically mention transferable. Very specifically. Right? Otherwise, you can't transfer. Any questions? Any more questions?
So is there any maximum level on transferable levels?
What do you mean by maximum level?
The beneficiaries, in this particular instance, we had two beneficiaries, no?
Mhm.
So say if it is 5 or 6, either
Yeah.
you can go for?
Yeah. Not 5 or 6, even 10, 15, you can go.
There is no limit on that.
There's no limit.
Okay, thank you.
මට මේ කවුරු ඉන්නව නම් බාප්පා කෙනෙක් හරි මහප්පා කෙනෙක් හරි මේ මිනිස්ටර් කෙනෙක් මං බහිනවා මේ උගල ඉඳනකන් ලෙක්චර් කරලා දකලන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නිකන් ඉඳලා ගන්න පුළුවන් සල්ලි. පුළුවන් නම් හොයාලා බලන්න පුතේ බැංකුවේ නිකන් කැරි ඉන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. This is the best way of earning money. First beneficiary. Right? Just some food for thought. Okay, then we'll call it a day. I want you people to study and come. It's very, very important, right? Read it and be prepared. Okay? Right. Thank you very much. And I really enjoy these type of questions. And this is how you have to behave.
Thank you, sir.
Tarindu, thank you very much, Tarindu. It was a very good question. And I really encourage you people. Thank you.